We're going to stop right there. We're going to start right there with you. How y'all feeling? Peace and love, world. Peace and love. You're now tuned in and rocking to the sounds and vibrations of your boy, Malik Kilam, also known as Don Kilam. And as always, prosperity is your birthright. We're going over very valuable information, private information that I'm bringing to you. It's exclusive. I'm bringing it to you. They don't want you with this information because it's life-changing information. Once you understand it, you're going to wake up. You're going to be able to maneuver correctly through the matrix. Somebody says, when we hear that lighter spark up, we know we're about to get information. When I hear the lighter spark up, I'm grabbing my pen and my paper. I appreciate that. That was music to my ears. Now, for real though, check me out. Check me out. Roll up, like, subscribe, share this with at least 2 or 3 people that's going to find this important. Just keep planting the seeds. They'll sprout eventually. All right? Let's get that good herbal magic in me. Yes, Lord. What you was hearing was IGWT, In God We Trust, by Don Kilam. It's an old. I did it June 5th, 2020. That's when I released it. But before we get started, I want to know what I'm going over. Public citizen. This is what I named it. Public citizen equals In God We Trust Beneficiary. This is the Trustee Training 101. Let me know in the comments of whether you're tuned in on the live, on the Facebook, the IG. I'm on the YouTube, Don Kilam, and I will be screen sharing this information that I'm going over. I have a whole ebook presentation for you, free of charge. I'm just going to give it away to you so you can follow along. But if you want the ebooks that I'm going to give, I do request a $25 donation for the ebook of the actual presentation. And then Becoming Your Own Banker ebook by R. Nelson Nash. How to become your own banker. Because you already are, truly. But you just don't know. You got to learn how to operate. Send $25 donation via Cash App to TheDonKilam. Put hashtag IGWT in your email address in the memo box. Let me start sharing the screen. There's the Cash App, TheDonKilam. $25 donation. You'll be able to get this presentation in an ebook form and How to Become Your Own Banker ebook. Great read by what's his name? R. Nelson Nash. If you want to send a donation another way, you don't have Cash App, you can go to donkilam.com/donate and check out our other services that we offer on that website. We also have malikkilam.com donations. We accept crypto on that site. We got A to Z business estates as well. Check out the Big Business Conference, November 5th and 6th in Phoenix, Arizona. We will be covering trust law, business credit, personal credit, business networking, and you never know who's going to show up. I'm trying to tell you, we will have celebrity guests in the building. We got Be Better Rentals in the building. Big Business Conference meeting. Check it out. Go to A to Z Business Estates. We also got nationality, travelers IDs and identification as well. You follow me? So check that out as well. That's at nationalitytravels.com. Well, now we got all that out the way. Let's get to it. We're getting straight to the lecture. You see that? I run my own ads. I pay myself for ads, for ad space, and research development. Until you get some people that know how to operate in trust. And I'm going to teach y'all right now. I'm going to teach you how to operate in trust. I'm going to teach y'all how to operate in trust. In God We Trust. This is Don Kilam Trust Company training right here. Trustee Training 101. Don Kilam Trust Company. In God We Trust. We're not licensed attorneys or tax experts. This information is being given to you for educational and informational purposes only, in hopes that you will make a better, more enlightened decision. We are not affiliated with the United States government or corporation. If you feel you need an attorney, please be advised with a competent counsel. All rights are reserved without prejudice. Don Kilam Trust Company. Yes. Peace and love. Peace and love. When we went over some of the websites, we got TheDonKilam.com official artist page. Check out any music that I have on the way. GoodyearRecords.com. and KilamClothing.com. You can contact information. You can text me at 480-573-4879. 480-573-4879. Or you can send me an email at booking@DonKilam.com. Again, if you want this material that I'm going over, you can send a $25 donation. And you'll also receive an ebook called Becoming Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. Put IGWT, hashtag IGWT in the memo box with your email address. In God we trust. Trustee training. I'm bringing it straight to you. Go to the YouTube right now. We got people tuned in. We got Brian Williams in the building. We got them tuning in and on the YouTube. I appreciate everybody, man, that's coming in on the live. We got them in on the Instagram. And we also got them on the Facebook. So in God we trust. Who owns the U.S. national debt? The U.S. debt reached a new high of $28.1 trillion as of March 31st, 2021. Most headlines focus on how much the United States owes China, one of the largest foreign owners. What many people don't know is that the Social Security Trust Fund, also known as your retirement money, owns most of the national debt. How does that work and what does it mean, most of the national debt? How does that work and how does it mean? It's in there twice, but there we go. So, another term to know. Full faith and credit. The clause in U.S. Constitution, Article 4, Section 1, which provides that the various states must recognize legislative acts, public records, and judicial decisions of the other states within the United States. It requires that foreign judgment be given such faith and credit as it had by law or uses of state of its origin. The foreign statutes are to have force and effect to which they are entitled in home states. Your agreements with the trust are circulated around the world as collateral for loans and entered on the asset side of ledgers, just like any other security. That is why they are initially filed with the New York Securities and Exchange Commission. The central banks now have a negotiable instrument against which credit is advanced by the international funding community, namely the World Bank, International Monetary Fund, and Bank for International Settlements, Bank of England, and Federal Bank of America, etc. Though not widely known, all these corporate banks and institutions, despite their names, are privately owned. Your account set up by your birth certificate is on the file at 55 Water Street, New York City. That's the DTC. Peace and love, everybody who's joining in. Appreciate the donations. I am getting the cash apps. I will send this material to you as soon as this live is over. The birth certificate is an unrevealed trust instrument. In God we trust. Social Security Trust Administration, you gotta put it together. Originally designed for the children of the newly freed black slaves after the 14th Amendment. Called the Trustee Trust that exists only on presumptions, the Trustee Trust has no corpus, no property, no value. Appreciate the donation. Appreciate the donation. Trusts are created only upon the conveyance of property and can exist only as long as there is value in the trust. There is no value in the Trustee Trust, yet it is to be charged as a trust, which is truly fraud. This person, citizen, straw man, unknowingly becomes a fictional persona in commerce as evidenced by the all capitalized letter name. The birth certificate is an unrevealed trust instrument originally designed for the children of the newly freed black slaves after the 14th Amendment. The corporate government has the ability to tax and regulate commerce for all citizens who have not reclaimed their title. The government-issued birth certificate is now a registered security by evidence of the Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedures, which is the QSIP number, which initially has an estimated value of $1 million starting off. Now, after receiving the information of the live birth and other particulars of the birth certificate accompanied by the assigned Social Security number, the state claims an interest in every child within its jurisdiction. The state will, if it deems it necessary, Nullify your parental rights and appoint a guardian or trustee over your children. Peace and love, everybody joining. Let me know when you tuned in from, man. The subject of every birth certificate is a child. Again, the subject of every birth certificate is a child. The child is a valuable asset, which, if properly trained, can contribute valuable assets provided by its labor for many years. The child itself is the asset of the trust established by the birth certificate and Social Security number, is the account number of the trust, allowing for the trust assets to be tracked. Our children are owned by the state. If you understand, a pair is a pair who rents. Child or children is property of a corporation, the parent corporation. Each one of us, including our children, are considered assets of bankrupt United States corporation. We are now designated by this government as human resources born in a delivery room, delivered to the state of birth by the way of the birth certificate, for which our informer, our mother, provides the requested information, including the name and Social Security or tracking number, wherewith this bankrupt government is supplied with new crop of collateral born each year. Another term to know is 28 USC 3002. We got Richmond, Virginia in the building. Peace and love. 28 USC 3002 subsection 15A United States means a federal corporation, an agency, department, commission, board, or other entity of the United States or an instrumentality of the United States. So a birth certificate is an instrument of the United States. The Social Security card is an instrument. That's what belongs to them. Also, do know that Constitution is an express trust. It's a trust that has been expressed. And now, things that express trust has to have, it must have a competent settlor and a trustee, and that's we the people. It must have a trust res, and that's blessings of liberty. It must show sufficiently certain beneficiaries, and that's ourselves and our posterity. A trust comes into being only upon execution of an intention created by the parties, having legal and equitable control of the subject matter of the trust. Our forefathers were the competent settlers and had equitable control of the subject matter as representatives of the people. The trustees and the duties are defined and established within the articles of the Constitution. The preamble and Constitution ascertain the trust res being passed on in the phase, the blessings of liberty. The preamble and the Constitution show sufficient certain beneficiaries in the phrase to ourselves and our posterity. The preamble stated an intention for which the document was created as in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice. It's an express trust. I'm not going to keep getting deep into that. Now, under the Constitution, the express trust, they cannot take property or credit, because credit is considered property. When you're breaking down crypto, we got Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the building. Peace and love. Peace and love. We got Wisconsin in the building. Peace and love. Wisconsin. So under the Constitution, the express trust, they cannot take property or your credit without giving you something in return, per the 14th Amendment. They give you pretend and compel benefits. They even take your labor, which is considered capital with the Department of Labor. Manual labor is also considered a benefit. With these benefits, it appears they take your rights and give you some type of check, such as a stimulus check, food stamps, welfare, etc. You are now receiving the benefits from the In God We Trust, which makes you a beneficiary. Let me know that makes sense right there. I'll go over it again. So, under the Constitutional Express Trust, they cannot take property or your credit without giving you something in return. That's per the 4th Amendment. They give you pretend and compel benefits. They even take your labor, which is considered capital with the Department of Labor. Manual labor can also be considered a benefit. With these benefits, it appears that they take your rights and give you some type of check, such as stimulus checks, food stamps, welfare, etc., or credits. You are now receiving the benefits from the In God We Trust, which makes you a beneficiary. Put it in the chat that it makes sense, if that makes sense. Understanding what terms to know. The estate is the commercial person. Someone asked, what if the estates own the commercial person? And an estate is a commercial person. Everything is commercial. You just gotta know how to express it correctly. Sports mode says it makes sense. Brian Williams says it makes sense. Now, everything is a commercial entity. You're always, so don't ever say it's you because it's commercial. You can't be commercial. You can't mix public and private. You need to learn how to stay private. You're still a private person. Nobody can take that away from you. Trust. A trust is a legal relationship in which the legal title of the property is entrusted to a person or legal entity with a fiduciary duty to hold and use it for another's benefit. Trusts are created by settlers who decide how to transfer parts or all of their assets to the trustees. So trusts are created by settlers who decide how to transfer parts or all of their assets to their trustees. These trustees hold on to the assets for the beneficiaries of the trust. The rules of a trust depend on the terms on which it was built. In some areas, it is possible for other beneficiaries to become trustees. For example, in some jurisdictions, the grantor can be a lifetime beneficiary and a trustee at the same time. A trust can be used to determine how a person's money and assets should be managed and distributed while the person is alive or after their death. A trust helps avoid taxes and probate. It can protect assets from creditors, and it can dictate the terms of an inheritance for beneficiaries. What is a beneficiary? A beneficiary is a person or persons or an entity that you designate to receive assets after your death. If you don't name a beneficiary, your assets will go to the person designated next in line by your state or by the institution that holds those assets. What is a beneficiary? A beneficiary is someone who receives assets at your death, such as a death benefit from a life insurance policy. You'll probably be asked to select a beneficiary if you have one of these kinds of accounts. When you open a financial account that will exist after your death, you will usually be asked to designate a beneficiary. The designation is included as part of the paperwork for the account. A beneficiary designation usually supersedes or overpowers the instructions in a will. So the will only applies to assets that do not have a named beneficiary. Now, I'm going to let y'all know what's going on as an In God We Trust beneficiary. Okay? And this is how most will or trusts are established. Beneficiaries have no control or say of the trust. Beneficiaries have no control or say of the trust. So, understand, when you're accepting these compelled benefits and pretended benefits from the United States charity, corporation, or holding company, however you want to put it, you have no control or say of your trust any longer. When you establish your own private family trust, then you will have a private banking relationship with your private banker. As public beneficiaries have strict social distancing in place and appointments for contactless banking. And that's where it's going. You're going to be controlled. If you're operating as a In God We Trust beneficiary, a state beneficiary, some people call it. Now, when you set up private family foundations and estates, this will help create your own private family law. No one could go against your own private law. Your own private family matters. Your own private law. When managing assets and capital, a private bank member is needed. So you'll always have a relationship, a private banking relationship when you're operating in when you're a private banker, you're always going to have a private banking relationship with private bankers because you need that to manage capital. Again, if you want this, what I'm going over, then God We Trust Beneficiary, send a $25 donation to receive this presentation and becoming your own banker by R. Nelson Nash ebook. Cash App TheDonKilam, TheDonKilam, hashtag IGWT in your email address in the memo box. Most people should be familiar with this word. Terms to know. Civil liter mortuus, which means civilly dead, dead in the view of the law. The conditions of the one who has lost his civil rights and capacities and is accounted dead in law. When you understand that the United States is a federal corporation, corpse means dead body. Action means action, so you have to bring the dead bodies to life. This is why they call it a straw man. There is legal terms for these things. It's called civil liter mortuus, okay? Civil liter mortuus, civilly dead, dead in the view of the eyes of the law. Another term to know, when you create a trust to operate, makes sense on the public side to obtain the credit and make your name into a sole proprietorship. This is a type of business entity. A sole proprietorship, also known as a sole trader, individual entrepreneurship, or proprietorship. It's a type of enterprise owned and run by one person in which there is no legal distinction between. This is where they get their power from, the government. When they get the flag with the gold fringe around it, it's through color of law, color of office. An act unjustly done by the countenance of an office being grounded upon corruption to which the office is as a shadow in color. A claim or assumption of right to do an act by virtue of an office made by a person who is legally destitute of any such right. I hope that's making sense, color of law. This is why you have to sue the deprivation under color of law. Deprivation of your rights under color of law. In God We Trust beneficiaries, okay? Private bankers have an understanding that money is not real. It has always been calculated digitally. Trust can create trust units, interest units, titles, bonds, and notes. FRNs are Federally Reserve Notes. For the In God We Trust beneficiary with trust, everything is considered property transfer. So private bankers have an understanding that money is not real and has always been calculated digitally. Trust can create trust units, interest units, titles, bonds, and notes, just depending on what type of trust you have established. Federal Reserve Notes, or FRNs, are for the In God We Trust beneficiaries. With trust, everything is considered a property transfer. Everything is property. Intellectual property. Even the knowledge that you hold is intellectual property. %95 of the world is under the status as an In God We Trust state beneficiary. Not an employee, a beneficiary. And this is why you get paid minimum. This is why you can't make over a certain amount. You don't see millions because you're a beneficiary of the In God We Trust. You don't get to see millions. You get what we give you. Under this status, you are a citizen or state employee that does not create anything of its own. Only consumption. You're only consuming. You're a consumer. When you accept public offers from the state, you go into the public record as a public trustee. He said he done brought the Henny out. Come on, preach, man. So when you accept public offers from the state, you go into the public record as a public trustee. All right? Then you become a beneficiary. You follow me? There is no such thing as something for nothing, okay? So when you start accepting this, there's no such thing as something for nothing. All credit is public and public information. Understand that. All credit is public and public information. Commercial jurisdiction is business. Understand this. Commercial jurisdiction is business, not personal. So lawfully, you can never truly be a state beneficiary. So commercial jurisdiction is business. It's not personal. There's a difference between personal business and commercial business. The public and the private. FRN notes are good for the public and the private. The position is a mind state starting off. Everything is to be viewed as a business. The government nor any entity can go against private contracts. The United States and the government is to be viewed as a charity. All right? You got to view them as a charity. Just look at schools and hospitals. Schools and hospitals are created by private foundations and work directly for those board members who invest in them. I'm going to state this again. Schools and hospitals are created by private foundations and work directly for those board members who invest in them. So it is wise to create your own private foundations, just like any other celebrity or millionaire out there, and make contributions to your local hospital. So when the public sectors are shut down or going through chaos, such as they've been filled, this is the ones they truly work for, or the private foundations. This is what y'all are not understanding. Create your private foundations, create your private estates, create your private trust, and make donations towards these hospitals. If your name's on the list, you tell them this is who you are, because this is who the hospitals truly work for. Understand that. Now you have say. Now you have power. Anything liquid can be turned to credit. Anything liquid can be turned to credit. What is financial liquidity? Financial liquidity refers to how easily assets can be converted into cash. Assets like stocks and bonds are very liquid since they can be converted to cash within minutes or days. All right. However, large assets such as property, plant, and equipment are not as easily converted to cash. Mike, Beijing, I appreciate your donation. I got you right after live. So large assets such as property, plant, and equipment are not as easily converted to cash. For example, your checking account is liquid, but if you own land and need to sell it, it may take weeks or months to liquidate it, making it less liquid. Understanding financial liquidity. Cash is the most liquid asset. However, some investments are easily converted to cash like stocks and bonds. Since stocks and bonds are extremely easy to convert to cash, they're often referred to as liquid assets. Investment assets that take longer to convert to cash might include preferred or restricted shares, which usually have covenants dictating how and when they can be sold. And there are some examples of some assets. Examples of assets are cash and cash equivalents, accounts receivable, intellectual property such as your businesses. Knowledge and training can also be an asset. Inventory, investments, property, plant, and equipment, vehicles and furniture, patents, intangible assets. Properties of an asset. There are three key properties of an asset. Ownership. Assets represent ownership that can be eventually turned into cash and cash equivalents. Economic value. Assets have economic value and can be exchanged or sold. Assets are resources that can be used to generate future economic benefits. All right? You're an asset. Remember that. Examples of assets for the In God We Trust beneficiaries include birth certificate, social security card, driver's license, personal banking card, and then benefits. These are considered assets too because you can convert them back to assets unless you just do something else with them, which is the stimulus check, the food stamps, the social security benefits, fixed income, even jail time is a benefit. All right? It's considered you're becoming an asset for this trust. All right, when you go to jail, you're putting forth labor. Minimum wage payouts as they're receiving the true benefits attached to the full faith and credit. A check or a small payout is the benefits of this trust and the right of use to use the property you have titled and gifted to the minor state trust. It's a minor account. Now, in closing, if you do not understand private banking and the free market capitalism, Again, when you shall be a citizen and a beneficiary of the In God We Trust with sub-minor trusts created by the state and other corporations. Citizens are consumers awaiting their benefits from the state. You truly have to learn the private side and create your dealings in the private, but also be able to create something in the private to give to the public. State beneficiaries always get taxed as the private trust. Estates and foundations receive exemptions and write-offs. I'm going to say that again. State beneficiaries always get taxed as the private trust. Estates and foundations receive exemptions and write-offs. Say that one more time so y'all can get that clearly. State beneficiaries always get taxed as the private. They always get taxed. Now, as the private trust, estates and foundations, they receive exemptions and write-offs. Charities and foundations are big business and truly calling the shots, especially during the pandemic. These are the entities that have done the most prospering. As you do further research, just research. Everything is private foundations and entities. Again, if you want what I just went over, send a $25 donation to receive this presentation and become your own banker by R. Nelson Nash. Cash App TheDonKilam, hashtag IGWT in your email address in the memo box. Then here's this book, man, Become Your Own Banker by R. Nelson Nash. I'll show you what you're getting, man. It's 166 pages, man. Becoming Your Own Banker, how the infinite banking concept got started, imagination, the grocery store, the problem, creating a bank like the one you already know about, creating your own banking system through dividend paying life insurance. So I thought that was very interesting. There's more books too, man. I'm trying to tell you, there's more to come. But this right here, creating your own banking system through dividend paying life insurance. And you see much more, creating an entity, how to start building your own banking system, capitalizing your system and implementation, the cost of an acquisition. You really need to understand acquisitions and business mergers, because that's when you're going to start making that money. That's when you're going to start making that big money. Acquisitions and business mergers, man, merging these businesses together, create multiple businesses and merging them together. That's what I brought for y'all today, man. I'm about to send these ebooks out to y'all, man. Do a little study, do a little research, man. I got Trustee training coming up September 10th, man. Go to MalikKilam.com. I got a lot of classes in store for you, man. I'm about to show people how to get funded, get the non-for-profit funding, learn how to create a non-for-profit business under your ministry trust, and go get some funding for that. Go get some grants for that. Learn how to get government contracts. You know, one guy I ran into, man, got $3.2 million over 3 years. Over a government contract. He put it together. He didn't do anything. All he does was put the business together. That's what he did. He networked. He took the money, put it together, and they doing fire sprinklers and elevators. They doing all types of stuff. It's your money, man. Go get it. Learn how to go get it. Then learn how to create assets. Then learn how to protect those assets. That's when I'm coming here and really trying to show y'all what to do, man. So I'm learning this stuff, man. I'm learning this stuff as I go. I learn from you guys. You guys show me the way. I help you guys. You guys help me out. Y'all show me the way, and I appreciate it, man. And I'm giving it to you just the way it is. Just make sure you do your research. Make sure you do your study. Make sure you know the codes and statutes. I know other people tell you do not know the codes and statutes, just implement common law. I'll tell you know the codes and statutes because they have to follow common law. Implement the codes and statutes because that's what they understand and that's what they know, if that makes sense. But with that, I'm out, man. Much peace and love. Prosperity is your birthright. I'm coming to a city near you too, man. So stay tuned. Stay posted, man. I'm coming to Dallas, Texas, man, next week. So hit me up if you're in the Dallas, Texas area. We can link up, man. You know, I got Las Vegas and I got Phoenix, Arizona, man. So, hey, stay tuned. I got a lot of great things in store. Working on a mixtape. I'm doing a lot of different things, man. Much peace and love. Remember, prosperity is your birthright. Peace. You know, I'm about to play my song again.
Getting beginning was the word, already written, reign king in the streets by the hood's definition. Read a blue pill, I'm filling out prescriptions. Minister information, learn to play my positions. I'm a worst critic, never lacking in ambition. Universal truths, never facing extradition. Cut the Bobby Brown, Keisha's new edition. Petition to the world, I'm the next superstition. In the beginning was the word, no limits to my lyrics. Only God can judge me, may I summon Holy Spirits. Key to every city, I bought it on clearance. In God we trust, let me add it to the minutes. Lights, camera, action, now I'm selling out of tickets. When I get started, won't stop till I'm finished. This the public notice that I know no limits. All rights reserved, void for prohibited. It's a knock, 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 banging on heaven's door. Now I'm laid back, looking through the peephole. If I resurrected, every day is like a peep show. Learn money talks, now I'm just handing out quotes. Net worth increase, no smoke, blowing hella dough. Circuit all the sevens, real life cheat codes. The rest found out, my time the free throw. Charity starts at home, trust funds never going broke. In closing, may you feel renewed. In your right hand a star, the left a moon. May you remain balanced in whatever you do. May wisdom save your soul when oppression breaks through. Coursing your rage courageously, with all praises due. It's your boy Malik Kilam, also known as DonKilam.com. Much peace and love to you.